All right, good
Set.
evening. This is the May 27th, 2025, 6 p.m., or I guess I'll say 6:03 p.m. right now, meeting of the Leominster Conservation Commission. The public is encouraged to follow along with the meeting using the posted agenda. I would like to ask anyone attending to please silence your devices. My name is Jesse Averka. I am the conservation agent for the city of Leominster. And before we begin, please allow me to confirm which members are present. Nick Venti. Yeah. Steph Quinlan.
Here.
Vice Chair Richard Golick. Here. And Chair Chuck Raymond.
Here.
All right, thanks.
All right, moving on. Thank you, Jesse. Well, there's nobody here from the public, so I will refrain from giving my spiel about asking for comments from the public. So on to new hearings, we have a request for determination of applicability, or RDA, from Keola's Commuter Services regarding vegetation management along the MBTA commuter rail rights-of-way property in Leominster, Massachusetts. Sir, introduce yourself.
My name is Matt Donovan from Benish,
All right,
representing Keolis.
super. What do you got for us?
So we submit this RDA to your commission every 5 years, required by CMR 11 to confirm the accuracy of the maps used for vegetation management along the right-of-way. The vegetation management plan is, we're required to get these determinations before submitting the vegetation management plan to Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. There are regulations in the plan, in CMR 11, to keep the sensitive areas protected, and these sensitive area restrictions are listed in CMR 11, as well as our vegetation management plan. The maps we provide you with are mainly made for the chemical portion of the plan. Will often dictate where mechanical methods will be used due to chemical restrictions. Each year there are two main chemical applications, one in the May to June timeframe that targets the roadbed, and one in the August-September timeframe that targets the brush and the areas adjacent to the roadbed. The blue and yellow areas marked on the maps will only receive the roadbed program, and it's restricted from the brush program. So that's what I'll focus on, because that's the only chemical program taking place in these sensitive areas of your jurisdiction. However, if you do have questions about the brush program, I'd be happy to answer those as well. So the roadbed application is performed by a spray truck that drives directly on the track, with nozzles on the back side of it located about 18 inches above the ground that sprays the solution directly down onto the track. It has arms with nozzles on the arms that target the shoulders of the roadbed up to 12 feet from the center line of the track on each side. The certified applicator is always accompanied by an environmental monitor equipped with these maps, familiar with site conditions, instructing the operator as necessary. The applicator has the ability to turn the nozzles off with a flip of a switch, or in many cases just the side nozzles that target the shoulders, or maybe getting close to the buffer zones of the sensitive areas. The yellow zones will never receive treatment directly down on the shoulders. However, it may still receive treatment directly down onto the ties. That's done at the applicator and environmental monitor's discretion to keep it within conformance with the regulations. The light blue zones will receive the full roadbed treatment. And that typically represents being between 10 and 100 feet from a wetland or sensitive area, and the dark blue zones are more so DEP zones or water supply areas, and those zones will be sprayed every 2 years. In these blue and yellow zones, due to the limited spray, more effort is put into controlling the vegetation with physical and mechanical measures. The chemicals each year are always going to be from the sensitive area material list for right-of-ways provided by Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. And we do include that mixture in the yearly operational plan that we send to your commission every year. So we are seeking a positive 2A determination to confirm the maps, as well as a negative determination for the work included in the vegetation management plan. That's it for me, unless if there's any questions or comments.
Quick question. So you said CMR 11 is literally 11.00?
Yeah, so CMR 11 is the right-of-way management,
Okay.
vegetation management.
Okay, all right. And you, so the applicator, is, who, is he, what company is he with, he or she?
For the past however long I can remember, I think it's been RWC for at least 10, if not 20
Okay.
years.
And who's the monitor with? Same company?
In the past, it has been, no, it's not the same company. In the past, it has been either contracted, like engineering or like wetland scientist firm, or
Okay.
in-house. And right now, they've been doing it in-house from the environmental department in Keolis.
So the monitor recently has been an employee of Keolis?
Yes, for
Okay.
the past few years, I know.
Okay. And so just in terms of the map we're looking at, that ice, that looks like what, is that the southern end? Is that down towards Lancaster, do we know?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Looks like it.
And then do we
You
go-
can keep going with them. There's a bunch
Yeah,
more.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so that yellow, tell me again what that yellow area is that a sensitive area?
Yellow
No.
means it won't receive any spray to the shoulders of the track. It may still receive solution directly down on the ties, and that's done at their discretion. But it'll never receive spray to the outside.
What do you mean by the shoulder?
So
Is that the like the
Yeah,
like
like
the
how-
gravel at an angle?
yeah,
On the, okay.
exactly, like further away from the track.
Okay.
The actual ties and rail itself is like the most important part to keep free of weeds, for many reasons. So they're gonna try to spray just directly down onto the ties the
Okay.
whole way, if they can. But in certain times, when the wetland or culverts or whatever do creep up close enough to the tracks, they will have to shut the entire, nozzle, all the nozzles off.
And,
So yes, that's a sensitive area.
yeah, you're correct,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
And all that bacteria.
And that's where you use mechanical means?
Yeah, so the mechanical means is, in these blue zones, they won't, I'll get into the brush program a little bit. The brush program is for the areas adjacent to the shoulders, so that is totally different.
Okay, so you haven't even gotten to the brush use area yet?
They can only do the brush program in the area, where there's no sensitive area restrictions. So I touched on that barely, and I said if there's any questions I can answer, but
Okay.
that won't ever happen in your areas of jurisdiction. But that's when they'll spray like 30 or 40 feet off into the distance away from the side of the track.
Okay.
But in these blue zones, they can't do that. So that's adjacent to the track, is where they'll be doing the mechanical vegetation management when needed.
Okay.
This sounds extremely similar to the April 22nd case we had.
Yeah.
And I
Pretty
wasn't,
much
that's
the
one I
same.
wasn't here for.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, you were.
It's all describing exactly the same.
Is it, okay.
Yeah.
And,
12 foot from center line.
Yeah, it's just a
request
separate
38
railroad.
request for determination.
and how was that?
That was handled by.
I know, how was that different than this one? Okay, mind if I see that? Just a
Different rail lines.
Yeah, it's just a
No, different rail lines,
This is
oh,
the
okay.
commuter
Oh, what
line.
rail line is that?
Oh, CSX, oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Do you know who submitted that?
I think it was CSX.
Oh, okay, so they did it.
Within the CSX Railroad, it was CSX Transportation represented by Kip Callahan.
From
Yeah, he
VHB.
works for VHB.
Okay.
And VHB, right, and it was folks from VSB,
Yeah.
Okay,
and Hank Rustling Inc. was involved. There were no
Yeah.
significant changes, so this plan has no changes from the previous versions?
No, it's the same, no, the markings haven't changed, and the
Okay.
plan won't change.
and so you folks come in, would you say, every 5 years?
Every 5 years, yeah.
Yes, and so none of us are on this 5 years ago.
Oh, really?
I think those were right, I probably joined right after that,
Okay.
so, all right. So,
So,
go ahead.
how were these new delineations made? Or if they're unchanged, how were they confirmed?
We go out into the field and we make sure that the markings are in place. So there's marking on the ties that correspond to where you see on the yellow and the blue zones. So those do have markings directly on the ties. So we do go out and make sure that the markings are still there, in preparation for this.
So they were surveyed, and you're seeking a positive 2A determination, such that the commission would confirm these?
Yes, as well as a
delineations? Yes.
negative determination to not have to submit an NOI for the work.
Minor, I'd say we accept it as opposed to confirming it. if it's a minor difference. But we accept the determination is the question.
No, so the 2A,
It's on the
Yeah.
mapping.
It does say
The
in
2A
2A
would
confirmed
like-
is accurate.
Oh, it does say
That's the
confirm.
word that it
Okay,
uses.
corrected.
so if we're to then confirm effectively these delineations, how would we access the site? Would Keolis provide a representative or?
Yeah, they would be open to that. There is, the Federal Railroad Administration does require RWP class to be obtained by anyone that
Sure.
goes on railroad property, but then at that time, we could coordinate a site visit.
Coordinate a site visit, okay. Is that what you're proposing effectively? Or
No, well, you would propose that if you
If-
want to confirm any areas.
consistent with the 2A determination would?
Yeah, so some commissions, have given a positive 2A, but basically, there's lines below the positive 2A which kind of allow you to like write a little narrative. And
Mhm.
a lot of commissions have said
Yeah.
like, this determination is solely valid for the vegetation management plan, and not used for any other
Mhm.
binding for any other projects that are to be submitted by others
Then when
or
someone
by
wants to do
Keolis.
work on White Street here, just, for example, then they can't go in and use.
Right, exactly.
It's
Or
only
even,
only
or
for the
even,
purposes
or
of
even
this
Keolis
application.
if they
Sure,
submit another RDA for something other than vegetation management,
yeah.
these wouldn't be binding.
Nick,
'Cause it's not a survey that would be done like for a specific project or anything like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nick, if we were to vote along the lines of what he's recommending, I'd ask that you add a sentence like that
Yeah,
at the end of our determination.
no, it's definitely a very good idea.
Anybody else have any questions, thoughts, comments? No? Nick, you all set?
I'd like a sentence saying that we're not in the field confirming or something like this.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
We are accepting it. I still question that word, because as Commissioner Venti said, if we want to confirm it, we'd have to go out and look and go.
We'd have to visit
I'm
the
not gonna
site.
go do that. I accept what your
Yeah.
We can
professionals did.
put a
Yeah,
note in.
I don't
there.
have I don't have the railroad training and,
Yeah.
Not many people
Go through all
do.
that to confirm.
I mean, we need
yeah,
to.
it's kind of a pain.
we need to-
That's a very niche, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's weird. Yeah. Alright.
All right. Nothing else? Okay. Nobody in the public here, so I'll entertain then a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
So
So
moved.
second.
There we go. You get that, Jess?
Yes, I do. Sorry. Steph, how do you vote?
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
Okay.
So are you looking for two votes here in terms of the positive 2A and then the negative?
Yeah, usually it's done under like one vote, but just issuing a positive 2A and a negative determination.
Okay, and the 2A was to confirm the wetland determination?
Yeah, to confirm the maps.
I can read that if you want. Do you want to know exactly what it says?
Please.
Yes.
Two-way.
Yeah.
So a positive 2A says the boundary delineations of the following resource areas described on the reference plans are confirmed as accurate. Therefore, the resource area boundaries confirmed in this determination are binding as to all decisions rendered pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act and its regulations regarding such boundaries for as long as this determination is valid.
All right, so then do you mind if we did two votes?
Yep, no, that's totally
Okay.
fine.
So
however.
I'll entertain a motion for a positive 2A determination as just read into the record by the agent for the project at hand.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steph.
Okay, and on that vote, Nick,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
Okay.
And you all set?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
okay.
and in terms of the negative, Jesse, do you have any thoughts on a -2 or a -3? Matt, how's it generally done?
I think it was a -5 that he's.
It's-
-5.
Well, 2 and 3 are very common as well.
Right.
It's anywhere
Yeah.
from 2, 3, and 5.
Okay.
We did a 2.
I think 2 is fine.
on April 22nd.
Okay.
for the
Oh, good,
very
good
similar
point.
case.
Okay, all right. Then I'll entertain a motion to issue a -2 determination in terms of the Wetlands Protection Act, or how do we want to word that?
Request for determination of applicability.
Right, no, but, yeah, I guess that's it, yeah. So I entertain a motion for a -2, a -2 under the, for the negative, for the, Jesus, for the request for determination of applicability. Could not get my words right there, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Just got back from vacation.
That's fine.
I'll make that motion for a -2 determination for the quest.
See, you can't do anything.
It's a lot.
Request?
It's a real jumble.
It's a lot of
That was good, I thought you had it.
I had it.
Alright, seconded.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
And
you
on
both.
that vote, Nick, Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye, I think. I'm joking. Aye.
All right. Very good.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
We'll continue to keep you notified every year.
Please, have a good trip back to Portland.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you,
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming down.
All right. All right, moving on, nothing under continued hearings. Regular meeting, enforcement. What's happening with Weather Vane Drive?
So, I went out there with Jose, and we didn't have luck because
And again, just the record, Jose is.
Jose from the Board of Health, who, and he's familiar with this Mr. Marucho. He knows him from, having had other, interactions between his house and the Board of Health. So he has his contact info. He told me that he was gonna get in touch with him this afternoon. I'm gonna check with him tomorrow morning and, see if he was able to touch base with him. Essentially, it's at the point where now I'm gonna tell Jose, because of the existing language barrier, I'm gonna tell Jose to communicate to him that something needs to be started within the next week. I'll give him a week to, start removing that coop. And, obviously I'll give you guys an update at the next meeting, but I just need to see that he's listening to the letter and the actions that we've taken and that he just is willing to actually start the work. That's where I'm at with it.
All right, hopefully this won't get to a or else
Is this,
situation.
what level are we at with this particular issue? Has an enforcement order been issued? Or is
So
this
they got a
violation?
violation note, just a letter in the
So
mail.
we have not issued an enforcement order
Yeah.
yet, okay.
Mhm.
Would that, if nothing were to continue to happen, would that be the next step, enforcement order?
Yeah, I think that would be, if I don't see progress within the next week and he's just ignoring me, I don't think that he's just ignoring me right now. I think that he's genuinely, it's hard to run into him when I'm only working until 4. And
Right.
he
Right.
works late every day. But I know that Jose, like I said, has his personal contact info and can communicate with him a little bit better than I can. So I'll just have him,
Okay.
reiterate that it's getting to the point where you probably want to start doing something.
Okay, all right, good, thanks for the update.
Please
Yes.
maintain it on the agenda for
Yeah, absolutely.
continuing to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Jesse while we're here? No, okay. Meeting minutes for May 13th. I went through this afternoon, I made a few minor edits
Ditto.
in front of me.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody,
I
thoughts,
like
questions?
I like the new format.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is pretty good, yeah,
Great.
agreed.
Keep
Yep.
rolling with it.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the May 13th, 2025 meeting as edited and amended by the commissioners that read it.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Steph, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Rich.
All right, Steph and Rich, and on that vote, Steph,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right.
All right, cool.
4-0.
Moving on, commissioner comments, beaver complaints from Lincoln Street / Wildflower Street, anything new?
No, so we have the money, and we've scheduled, Beaver Solutions is booked out for a few weeks, but they are gonna come out and put that photo device in. I just left this on because I know I shared that email chain with you guys,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to give, if anyone has comments or anything, I just wanted to give everyone a chance to address it.
When is it possibly scheduled for?
For the end of June.
Okay.
And
Yes.
what's the technology called again?
They call it a pond leveler.
That's right.
A lot of people also call it a flow device, kind of the same thing.
Okay.
Has there been requests for emergency dam removal?
No,
No,
I
but
didn't know.
apparently one of the counselors, correct me if I
Yeah,
misread this,
yeah.
one of the
No, that's
counselors went out
accurate.
and broke down one of the dams. So our agent had a nicely worded note that suggested they not do that since we'd already taken an action to have the pond leveler installed
Yeah.
with
Hmm.
the goal of maintaining the beavers' homes as our goal. So the city's doing what they're
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
hand needs to see what
Yeah,
the other's
yeah.
doing, and that was well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, nice job.
But the sooner the better, because apparently.
No, I know.
No, with the-
Believe me, I've been
With all of
hounding.
the
Entire
rain.
month may be coming up, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this
No.
is the busy time of year for them, I'm sure they're really good too, and when I reached out to them, I don't know, and I don't know
Them
if.
being Beaver Solutions.
Yes, Beaver Solutions, I don't know if I mentioned this in a meeting, but obviously the prices of everything has gone up
Mhm.
over the last, 8 months or however long you wanna say. Their prices have gone up, but they were willing to honor the original quote from last September.
Wow.
In the interest of just, they know that you guys are trying to do a good thing, so they wanted
That's
to
nice.
make it easy for us. So,
Please
Yeah.
proceed.
they're very, very good, I would say, for doing that.
You know, there is no preferred time of year to put one of those in, you can do it pretty much any time, right?
I think that someone had raised, was it that we were concerned with at one of the prior meetings about doing it at a time where like the young.
That's why I was
people-
asking, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure that, I'm happy to ask those guys about that.
Mhm.
I'm sure that they, or I would imagine, I guess we'll make sure, I would imagine that they are aware of any.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, okay.
Any stipulations as far as the time of year.
Yeah, no, I mostly, I wasn't doubting that, I was mostly just trying to
Yeah, just like-
re-educate myself.
Yeah.
All right. All right, thank you. Moving on, request for a certificate of compliance for 30 Royal Oaks Way. BDP numbers 199-711 and 199-0848.
Yeah, those are the ones, and that's 3, just for the record.
Thank you. 3 Royal Oaks.
3 Royal Oaks.
Yes, 3 Royal Oaks, yes.
Yeah, they're both, so you can see this one, NOI was filed May 1st, 2007. This one was for water, sewer, and drainage. And then this one is even older than that. This one is from 2002,
3 digits, yeah.
back when it was Old Tavern Road.
Oh, is that, and they changed the name of the road, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get a chance to take a look at the properties? Is
I
everything
did.
done?
I go out and it looked like a normal property with a functional good wetland
Yeah.
behind it,
I mean, with.
20 years later, it's going to, regardless,
Yeah.
The newest one being 18 years old, I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but just making sure they didn't put any
Yeah.
big old patios in the
No.
backyard.
yeah, I was
Nothing
thinking,
like
I was thinking a
that,
garage in the
thankfully.
wetland, but yeah,
Mhm.
similar
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
One of these times, there probably will be something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then-
It's happened. It's-
Yeah, and we'll get to have an interesting
I think
conversation.
there is actually another one of those on Lincoln Street.
Yeah,
Not Wildflower, on Lincoln.
Lincoln.
yeah, now I'm linking too, okay. Okay.
So
Good with that.
what's your recommendation on that, Jesse?
I mean, I guess I would recommend giving them the certificate of compliance for both, it wasn't a property that looked like it had any issues to
Okay.
me, and.
All right, so since there are 2 orders, we'll do 2 votes then.
Yes.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for the property now known as 3 Royal Oaks Way, DP number 199-711.
So made?
Is there a second? Thank you, by the way, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, Steph and Nick. And on that, Nick, how do you vote?
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, and I'll also entertain a motion to approve a request for, approve a certificate of compliance for the property now known as 3 Royal Oaks Way, DP number 199-0848.
So moved.
Thank you, Richard. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All right, Rich and Steph. And Steph, how do you vote?
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right.
All right, so I know we spoke about this at the last meeting, but this one is for an extension permit.
Oh, wait, before we move on,
Yes.
any progress on those other certificates of compliance that we were talking about?
Just gonna ask.
Oh, yeah?
Are you on,
Wildflower?
on Wildflower?
Uh-huh.
So I'm still trying, I had a very, I would say, seemingly incomplete e-file. Because I know that they went to DEP for a superseding order of conditions.
Mhm.
I had the files that were initially submitted to you guys that, you know, led to them not getting an order of conditions. But I couldn't find a copy of whatever they sent to DEP that was accepted. So I had reached out to DEP and I'm waiting to get that from them. And then at that point, you know, I'll reach out to the applicant, go out there and line it up and see if, you know,
Cool.
see if they haven't, hopefully they have an as-built.
Please add that to the agenda for next meeting,
Okay.
so that we can, and anything that we're continuing to follow up on should stay on the agenda till we
Yeah,
get it off.
yeah, exactly.
It'll help us get them off better.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
Good question, thank you. All right, so anyway, extension permit for the order conditions for Lake Samoset, DP number 199, DP numbers 199-1009, 199-0818, and 199-0414.
So we can forget about 0414, because that, I don't even, DEP doesn't have a record of it. That was something
Oh.
that people from the Lake Association had,
No,
doesn't seem to exist, so
Okay.
Just got
I'm
it on
not.
an agenda
So-
somewhere, okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
well, I was covering all my bases when because I had to get this down before the holiday, because legally they have to be posted
right.
like 48 business hours.
Oh, so that's 33% off the list that we had to do, so.
Yeah, it's even easier. But I finally have, for these two, that they're looking to extend these specifics as far as what's actually going on in that lake. So this is the one for the chemical application. We had talked about this a little bit last week, and we knew that they were doing diquat. There's a couple other treatments.
That's the
that-
1009 one?
Yes.
So that's the vegetation control
Yeah.
dike 1009.
Dipod 2,4-D and copper-based algae.
Exactly, yeah.
But they didn't specify what kind of copper-based algae. They didn't, there was, I don't know, there was a couple copper sulfate and there was a second trade name.
Was it these ones?
Use
Yeah,
a
seafood.
copper-based algicide.
Sea Clear, Cap.
Yeah, Captain.
Yeah, Captain. But they didn't, yeah, I'm not sure they specified which one they're gonna use. Cause those are three different products, actually.
Third products, well, obviously,
But
all
they're all copper-based.
similar copper-based
Yeah,
algicides.
and they're, in other words, you know, this, or this, and it's,
But
Do you have a
it's-
problem with one of, or two of the three?
no, I mean,
I think as long as they're all approved for use in and around water.
I think copper-based algicide's appropriate.
You do-
I'm just saying that these three are put out as examples, but they're not committing to, but the proposal suggests that they're not committing to one.
Right, but I think the fact that as long as, Jesse, if you could follow up on this for us, as long as they're all approved for use in and around water, I think that we should leave a choice up to them.
Yeah.
As long as they're following directions with a material approved for that use.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm
If
not
they're covered
taking
base.
issue with it, I'm
Okay.
just saying that.
They're keeping their options open.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, yeah, it's left unspecified.
Just for reference, I have experience with copper applications for drinking water reservoirs.
Mm-hmm.
And at one public meeting, some people got pretty bothered because, you know, you're putting this copper in the water and so on. I had investigated this and talked to the manufacturer and the appliers. And apparently you would have to drink something like 50 liters, swimming along behind the boat to consume as much copper as was in one children's Flintstone vitamin pill.
Interesting.
And the copper, it's like
Mm-hmm.
kryptonite,
Yeah.
Superman style, for the algae.
Yeah.
And it's otherwise pretty harmless what's going on.
Yeah.
And if they've got copper pipes going into their house with drinking water.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a little copper.
They all copper in
We
the
all
water
need
anyway.
copper, we all need some
Yeah.
copper.
Good for your hair.
Mm.
Yeah, I did look up dark pulp, I did look up two, because 2,4-D always, 2,4-D and 2,4,5-T always just raise alarms for me. But I did look up 2,4-D, and it is approved for use in aquatic sites.
Yeah, I mean, they explain that, the proposal explains that in contact with sediment or organic matter, it becomes, bound to those things
Yeah,
and inert,
right,
so.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
there's that request from Mass DEP or the rule that, you're supposed to make sure it doesn't get into a drinking water supply, but, there shouldn't be any possibility of that in this
Right.
instance.
So Jesse, what do we need to do tonight?
So I mean, they're looking for
They're looking
a
to extend both of
motion
these?
just to accept, an extension on both of these. The other one.
And that's for an additional full 3 years?
Yeah, for an additional
Okay.
3 years, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think they're planning on doing these things in perpetuity.
That's true.
The other one is for the drawdown that they do. each
Drawdown, that's
year.
what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't chemicals?
No, it
They just
wasn't.
referred to it as aquatic management from 2006.
Well, aquatic management, that's managing the level of the lake.
That's what was in the paper files that I was able to find. But then talking to DEP and then talking to Mike Valley on the board too, this is what he had, so.
Okay, so I'm
It's been a
glad
real
to know
who's
what we're
who.
voting on now, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you?
I'm glad to know what we're voting on.
Oh, agreed,
I'm sure you are.
We now have-
It was.
Versus voting in the dark.
Out of everything I've done in my short time here, finding this was by far the hardest thing.
Okay.
For some reason, like, I couldn't tell you why, but, oh my god.
Well,
All right.
we'll hear when you get back to us on Wildflower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
hardest
see.
thing
Um,
so far.
So far,
yes.
worst day of your life so far.
So we'll take a vote on these one at a time. I presume.
Correct. Yeah, so just before I do that, are there any final questions or comments about either one of these?
No.
It looks to be pretty straightforward, okay. I will then entertain a motion to approve an extension for the order conditions for Lake Samoset DEP number 199-1009 for aquatic vegetation management.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
And on that vote, Steph,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let you get all that done.
Yep. Okay.
All right, and I'll also entertain a motion to approve an extension of the order conditions for Lake Samoset DP number 199-010818 for what they call it aquatic management, but it's basically for the annual drawdown.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay.
This is my job tonight.
Very nice.
Sorry,
All right, Nick and Steph. And on that vote, Nick,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye. And just before we get to the next meeting, was there anything else anybody wanted to go back up to commissioner comments? Anything anybody else had?
Oh, yeah, new girl. Was she?
Yeah, so we're
what's
still waiting for city council. It takes them 2 meetings, like they have to do an introduction after they get a recommendation from the mayor, and then they vote and accept at the second meeting.
Is that new?
I don't know, it could be.
Didn't do that for me.
This is
Yeah, it's just one,
Yeah.
I think it was just one for me.
Yeah,
I appeared at a meeting and they voted that night.
Yeah.
And I guess the changing the rules to go along.
Moving at this
Those are the
speed
city
of
council- those are
bureaucracy.
city
I don't know, that's what Michelle Nato told me.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
All right, so hopefully next meeting. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
all right, so next meeting will be June 10th, 2025. The filing deadline was last Friday, May 23rd at noon. And the meeting after that will be June 24th, 2025. The filing deadline will be June 6th, 2025 at noon. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Rich.
All right, Steph and Rich. And on that, Nick,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right,